Matt Wilson. How you doing, my friend?
My friend, great to be here. Man, great to check out this facility. It's amazing.
For sure, man. It's great to have someone from the Craviato family
Definitely.
in the house here. Yeah, we just I just heard yesterday that you were popping over, and I just wanted to do a little discussion here.
Sure.
I don't know you that well. We've met probably a couple times at shows at that
drum show that's in somewhere. Kane, where is it? At Kane
Did you
County?
do a clinic maybe at one of them?
I did a clinic / work.
I think I
performance.
saw the clinic. Yeah, I don't make it to a lot of clinics too, but I think I
Same
caught
one
part of
as
yours.
Bob Moses was there, and who else? Carmine, and who else was there? It was fun. It was really fun. I can't remember what year it would have been. 2008, maybe.
So usually with these, I kind of just talk a little bit about you first.
Sure.
Can I ask you some questions here?
Sure, by all means.
So you're from Illinois, actually.
Yeah, downstate near
Which is kinda
Galesburg,
cool.
Knoxville. Yeah.
And so that's how many hours out of Chicago is that?
About three and a half.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I grew up in Wheaton, so that's a good bit closer, but you still weren't that far away.
No, 70, just off of Interstate 74.
Sure.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up, tell me a little bit how'd you get into drums? How'd you get into music?
Well, I saw on an episode of the Lucy Show that was on Monday nights, I believe. Her son, Desi Arnaz Jr., was in a drum contest, and was going to be in this drum contest. And the judge was Buddy. It was going to be Buddy Rich. So before that, Lucy tried to get drum lessons for Ricky from Buddy. You can see this episode on YouTube. Anyway,
I've heard this story before.
Yeah. So he goes.
I don't think I've seen it, but I've heard.
Yeah,
about
and
it.
then he, and so they go to visit Buddy, and in the dressing room, Mr. Rich, and Lucy accidentally grabs, thinking it looks like her purse, grabs his cymbal bag, gets home, realizes, I think he realized the weight difference. But anyway, so he had to come back. He had to find her, come over to the house to get the cymbals. So Ricky had his drums there, and he comes in, he plays a drum solo, And I saw this, I was like, wow, this is really fast. I was in second grade.
Sure.
And I heard this, and it was really, really great. And then Ricky drops the stick and lets a kid that's less fortunate win the prize is a drum set, even though he already had one. This kid even didn't have a drum set. He could play very well. So he dropped the sticks, let him win. And then, but then a buddy of mine and I, who we went to see a lot of music together. We saw the Basie Band. We saw one time.
This is when you're growing up in Illinois.
Yeah, I was 15, he was 16. Well, I saw Buddy in Chillicothe, Illinois.
Okay.
Saw the Basie Band there in Chillicothe. This high school would bring in stuff.
I love these small Illinois towns that no one knows about.
And then one time, Stephen, we saw Clark Terry at Augustana College in Rock Island, where we're performing tomorrow with Arts and Crafts. Then 2 days later, we drove down to Western and saw Dizzy Gillespie's quartet with Bob Cranshaw, Ed Cherry, and a very young and happening Tommy Campbell.
Sure.
And then 2 days later, or 3 nights later, we drove down to University of Illinois at the Craner Center and saw Oscar Peterson play solo.
Wow.
Dig that. So we were out checking out stuff. So, and then there was a drum shop in my hometown owned by this guy named Chuck McClurg, and he's still around. He lives up in the Chicago area, and so he brought in people a lot. So I saw great clinics, and there was a jazz festival in my hometown. I'll be back for in May.
So were your parents into jazz? How did you get into jazz music? That oftentimes can run in the family.
A little bit. They were really into music, but I think I got it really through Buddy. I was more into jazz because of seeing that. And then this same friend I was describing, we would get together and listen to records. And he had a record of the famous recording on Mercury Records of Rich versus Roach, where they had both their bands playing.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that.
Tommy
before.
Turrentine and Julian Priester and such. And then Buddy's band had Phil Woods and John Bunch and some cats. Julian Priester, I know very well, was at that. And then Jimmy Cobb told me he was at that date. So there's a lot of things. But anyway, I heard Max Roach on there, and that was a life changer. That was
very
something
cool.
I heard that I thought was attainable. Buddy blows on Sing Sing Sing, the Louis Prima classic, made famous by Benny Goodman with Gene Krupak, obviously. And Buddy blows, but Max plays I didn't know he was playing it with a form, but he played with accompaniment, the bass walks.
Right,
so
right.
that sound got into my ear. And so that's a big part of what I do now. I love accompaniment. I love that aspect of singing on the set more than just chops.
Right. Yeah,
But
I
it
was
tremendous.
watching a bunch of your stuff that is available, and you really, I could see it in your style. I like your playing. It's really
Thank you very much.
It's really awesome. I mean, I saw that clinic you did maybe like 5 years ago. The drum show, we're always running around, so I only saw a tiny bit of it. Yeah, you were playing a tiny little bop kit. It was really cool.
Yeah, you guys, it was a nice Craviato set. And then, I went to Ludwig Percussion Symposium between my junior year and senior year of high school at University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Right.
And Alan Dawson was there, and Carmine Appice. It was great. And I met J.C. Combs there, who was a Ludwig clinician. He was the professor of percussion at Wichita State, and the percussion ensemble from there played, and it was great.
Sure.
And they were amazing. It was just something I never experienced, because there was another ensemble that played. It was about as exciting as watching paint dry. And then they came out. It was like a 3-ring circus, just all kinds of stuff going on. And I went to one of his classes the next day. I was like, "Who is this guy?" So I went to check it out. And we talk all the time. He's still one of my biggest influences.
Mm-hmm.
And so about art and entrepreneur, and being a impresario and doing crazy stuff. He was a real impetus about allowing me to find that. My parents were really great too. I've been really fortunate to have my imagination cultivated along with the playing of the instrument too. So I feel the balance of imagination and the chops and whatever technique. But then I went to school at Wichita State. I met my wife.
Where was that? Where was that?
Wichita State University
Wichita State.
in Wichita, Kansas.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I don't know much about that.
great town. A lot of great musicians. I learned a lot there. So I was working a lot in high school too. So I was used to the social aspect of music. Even in middle school, junior high, we call it then. I was playing with a lot of people on the weekends, and working, making money, and I learned a lot socially through the music. I didn't really learn it in school too much, even though I had a great high school program. But we didn't have jazz program at that point. It was budget cuts, this crazy stuff of the late 70s.
So late 70s. And
I graduated from high school in 82.
And I read about you that you ended up in New York around like 92, I think, something like that.
Exactly.
I don't know if it was
Boston,
correct.
exactly. Boston from 87 till 92.
What made you decide to move out there?
My wife did her master's at New England Conservatory. So
Okay.
we lived there. We lived there 3 more years after she was done, almost 3 more years, and then we moved to New York in '92.
Sure.
And
Yeah,
we've
you've
been
played
there
with
almost
some
30 years. Yeah.
You play with some big names over the years. Tell me, you got any stories you could tell from? I mean, we can also go more chronologically, maybe around then, who'd you start playing with?
in Boston, I was fortunate to. Within the first couple of days I was there, I met John Medeski, and so he recommended me to a band called the Either Orchestra, which is still going. It's a 10-piece big band, small big band, and I did that from '89 until '94, so 5 years. We toured all over the place. First time I came and played the Green Mill was 1989 or 90. So, I've been coming to the Green Mill, which we're playing this weekend.
This is in Chicago, Green Mill.
Yeah, Green Mill since
You guys playing there this week?
this Friday and Saturday.
So how long are you in Illinois for? Maybe
We're Wheaton College tonight, a workshop tomorrow with Augustana College
great.
in Rock Island. Thursday we're off. I'm visiting my aunts in my hometown area. And then Green Mill on Friday and Saturday, and then Columbia, Missouri on Sunday.
This is a perfect opportunity. Yeah, talk about the group you're touring with right now.
I have my band out, Arts and Crafts, which I've had going for a long, long time, and it's Gary Versace on piano and Hammond, and Martin Wood on bass, and on this tour, Michael Rodriguez. Terrell Stafford wasn't able to do this trip. He's been with me for a long time. This band's been together for 20. Well, we made the first record 21 years ago.
Sure.
It was right around the time we found out. I have triplet sons, and it was right around the time we found out that we were going to have triplets. So it was fall of.
Right. So you got triplets?
Yeah, triplets. So there'll be 21 next month.
Oh wow, that's very cool.
And I have a daughter who's 24. And so we that band, and then Ron Miles is supposed to be with us, and Ron became very ill last fall and sadly passed away this this last week,
Oh,
Tuesday
I'm sorry.
evening. Yeah, it was hard. I just landed in San Francisco when I found that out. I teach at the San Francisco Conservatory, so I go there once a month.
Right.
And I played there a couple nights this week too. I played 2 nights in San Francisco, and then we played in Boise Sunday, and we did workshops at Boise State yesterday, and flew to Chicago this morning. So
Yeah. That's awesome. And you're doing something at Wheaton College. I wish I could go. I got to pick up my kids today.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Is it just a?
there's a workshop for Katie Ernst there. Her, just for the ensemble, 7 to 8:30. It'll be fun. And,
like invitation only, or
no,
can
I
you,
think people could come. Yeah, I don't think it's.
now that it'll be over by the time this goes up, but
Yeah.
but still,
Well, we'll
just
go
cool
back in
to
time. No, it's fine.
see what you're doing. And
Yeah, and I keep very busy. I teach at the new school.
I wanted to go to New School.
Yeah.
Talk about New School a little bit.
I love it. It's a great program. I do. I coach. I teach 2 ensemble classes there, and then a fair amount of private lessons, and then I teach at SUNY Purchase, and I have Kenny Washington. I teach there, so I do. I have 5 students or so, and they're very very good players, and then. I still teach at Sarah Lawrence, and then the other big one is San Francisco Conservatory. So I go, like I said, I fly there once a month. I fly out on a Wednesday, teach all day Thursday, teach up till Friday 1:00, and I fly home usually.
Sure.
And I love that program. It's great. I have some very very fine players there on all the instruments. So we coach everything there. I do obviously do drum lessons, but I really like teaching ensembles and stuff like that. So I do a lot of that there. So it's fun. So I'm pretty busy, and then now with performing back, I did a European tour last fall, right before Omicron kind of got weird in Europe. So I got that out of the way, and I was here with Christmas Trio in December in Chicago. We did Des Moines and here in New York. And we got through. Matter of fact, I stayed an extra day in Chicago, played at the Hungry Brain with somebody, and
That's a really cool.
it's a great club. Yeah, it's a great club, and
Cool little place. I did like an album release show there once.
yeah, it's really fun. So that was what I was doing for some Jamie Brywick, a great drum player from.
Pull
Sorry.
the mic down just a hair.
Yeah.
Just a hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Jamie Brywick from Milwaukee. He's a great drum player. So we made a record. That was it was a CD release. So it was with John Tate, a great bass player, who's actually from my hometown area, also a great player in Chicago. Do you know John? Great player.
I do. I think I've just seen him.
His dad was a counting teacher at my high school, actually. So it's funny that I know these young. Anyway,
Interesting. Small world.
Yeah. And so we recorded this record live at a place in New York called the Dead Poets Tavern. It's up on the Upper West Side, maybe in the 80s off of Amsterdam, I think.
Is it like
really small little place?
Like modern jazz stuff?
Yeah. It's trumpet trio. So, and I just play on this one. I play ride cymbal and snare drum. It's all I could fit. So I play snare drum, and I have this little 17-inch ride I got from Zildjian that I love with 2 rivets in it, and so that's what I play on this record, and I really dig it.
Well, while we're on gear, what was your first kit?
Very first kit?
Yeah, just out of curiosity.
First drum set, I had an orange sparkled snare drum, a Japanese brand I bought from a guy. Okay. I still have it, but the first drum set I got was a green sparkle Slingerland, which I obviously wish I still had.
That's a cool one. Yeah, I like green sparkle slings. Was it like probably 22, 12, 13, 16?
220s. It was a double bass drum, 12,
Kinda unique.
13, 16.
And you said you still got it?
No, I wish I did.
Oh, yeah, green sparkle is actually a little rare. You don't see those too often.
And then I got another Slingerland set at a music store in. I got another set, and I wish I would have kept it, but the wrapping, but we took the wrapping off and just finished the wood.
Sure.
That was a thing to do back in those days. I think it was Blue Sparkle. I wish I would have kept that now. But those drums actually were in a barn on my parents' property. And after they passed, my brother was living. He had a shop next to it, and that caught on fire.
Oh no!
And so those drums were and a couple really good acrylite snares got burned in that fire. But then I got.
It's happened to so many drums.
Then I got a
over the
Gretsch
years.
set. I have a Gretsch set, and I keep that at Colstein's Bass Shop, which is in my town of Baldwin,
Like
New York.
Maybe 70s Gretsch
80s,
kit.
80s.
Gretsch?
Yeah.
Sometimes,
I got an
for whatever
82.
reason, I don't know what it is, but the 80s Gretsch kit's probably a lacquer kit, right?
Yeah,
Almost all
wood,
are.
maple wood. Yeah,
Those always sound so good.
They're really great.
I don't know what it is. There's
Really
something
great,
about-
really great. So I haven't played. So when
Jasper shells or something?
Yeah, during the pandemic, they started doing some broadcasts, filming things, kind of like a setup like you guys, what you have to have the bass shop, they have it.
Sure.
So I just decided, that I cleaned them up, brought them down there, and they just use them. So I just keep them there.
Nice.
Then when my daughter was born, she was born in '98. I was with Pearl. I started with Pearl,
Right.
and I stayed with them until 2007. When
I watched
your
the
dad,
video.
Yeah, your dad
So you
hooked me up
played a
with
little
Craviotto.
Pearl bop kit, which
Yeah.
you don't see Pearl bop kits very often. So that was super
Great,
cool.
they were great drums, great company.
They sounded great.
Very
Yeah.
nice. And then in 2000, I was coming there a lot to play the Showcase and the Mill still a lot, but the Showcase was not too far from your location downtown. So became friends with your dad and Ben Gray and everybody
Ben.
at the store, and then they.
And that may have been the first time I probably met you around then. I used to have long hair. I don't know if, 'cause I was going to college.
Yeah, and then on one Sunday afternoon, I was playing the matinee with either Dewey Redman, who I played with for 12 years, or it might be Denny Zatlin at the Showcase, not the location now, but the one prior.
Sure.
And you guys brought me one of your snare drums with the wood hoops,
Okay.
pearl maple with beaver tail lugs.
All right.
6.5 by 14, very light, very thin drum.
Oh, like
Very
a
light.
Maxwell drum. Yeah.
Yeah, Maxwell. You guys brought it to
Nice.
me. Just said, I'll play this today. I said, no, just keep it. Take it home. I'm like, oh, wow. And
They're good drums, yeah.
And then Steve got me, hooked up with Johnny Craviato. And I remember talking to Johnny and like, oh, wow, this is... And then Johnny and I became very close. And I have two of these, along with I have a lot of these drums of Johnny's, but I have two of the ones I had. He sent me one time that was a 6.5 by 14, 8 lug. This is what I like: 6.5 by 14, 8 lug, not baseball, but 30-degree round bearings. I love that. It's really soft, like the way the texture of it is to play. I like
Right. Yeah, your Craviatos, are they 45s?
the toms are, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And some of the snares.
You got some, do you have a kit that has like a different bass drum edge than the toms have?
I think my 16-inch bass drum, I think my 20-inch bass drum, which is 12 by 20, has
That's cool
30
size.
has 30-degree bearing edges also.
30 degree. Oh, okay. Interesting.
And then I think the 16, which is 12 by 16 that Johnny made,
Yeah.
is I think it's 45, or maybe on one side it's also a floor tom.
Right.
So I can use it, and but when I got this one, it was a gray finish. It looks like sandwood or like driftwood kind of,
Yeah,
or
I've seen
like
one
real
like that
western.
before. Yeah.
And looking, and so I said, Johnny, man, I want to do. When I was a kid, I would read Modern Drummer a lot, and I still check it out, and it's cool. And they had a great interview once with Hal Blaine in there, and Hal Blaine was on the road with John Denver, and for his set, he had Ludwig. They did the set with like a Native American motif on there around the shells, painted. I thought, oh, that's cool. So I talked to Johnny. I said, Johnny, let's get some wood burners, like branding irons, because of this look like, and do something like a shell. So I was doing a workshop. A clinic at a PAS convention. I can't remember which one, and Johnny got the drum made, and I think he just hand burned it with a wood burner with my name and some other.
Oh,
it's
is that
great.
where the burnt maple ones came from? I remember
Well,
those.
if you've ever seen a picture of it, I have two of them. He made me a second one. The last time I saw him was at the Monterey Next Generation Festival, and
Okay.
he brought the drum over. It's the second one over to me.
snare
there.
drum, yeah.
Yeah, it has my initials, and it's yellow, and then he just took a wood burner and did it by hand, and with. Oh, it's beautiful. It's great.
I think I've seen, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So
really cool.
Yeah, really cool. And but what I loved about Johnny was, is that Johnny got most excited about the music that the drums were being played on. I never.
Yeah,
really
he was
heard,
a pretty accomplished drummer.
I never really heard Johnny. He never really talked too much specs. Some guys will tell
Sure.
you, "Well, I did this."
I know
He
exactly
never
what
really
you
talked
mean.
about it. But when I told him Joe Lovano loves those drums, he was like, "Oh, that's great." Or I'd send him records, I'd say, "Man, hear how these drums sound on this record," And I used them because I've used them on a lot of dates already, And then I think the last drum that I got from Johnny personally was he made me a 9 by 13-inch tom. So I have that, and I have a bunch. I have a 4 I have a 5. I have a bunch of 6.5s. I have a one of Adrian's shells, engraved ones.
Adrian Kirschler, yeah, for sure.
Beautiful drum. And then
He makes the finest
Oh yeah, man, that guy is something else.
metal drums and everything, in the world,
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Yeah, he's great. So I know him too a little bit from
I love
the
his
NAMM show. And
do
then,
any of your Craviatos? Do any of them have his hoops, the metal hoops that he makes?
no, I don't think so yet.
You gotta
No,
wait a while
yeah.
to get those, but if
Yeah.
you could ever,
Oh,
if you like brass hoops, I don't know if you have.
I'd like
an
to get
opinion
some on
brass.
me. Yeah, I'd love to try them. I'll try anything. And then
We can in just a minute, actually, because I happen to have some in the shop.
Then I have then I got I like these. They're called solitaire, diamond solitaire.
those are-
I really love that drum. I have a 6.5 of that aluminum shell. I love that drum. I use it for certain things that.
This is
So-
your first time at the shop here, but you probably know Dave. Victor, of course, so
Yep.
He was,
Dave and I, we keep in touch a lot.
pretty
of things.
involved with. Yeah, I mean, he's there. He's like the artist. Yeah, he talked to the artist. So
Yeah, he's
You guys would be on a first
Johnny
name
was
or
and
basis,
it was
yeah.
great to be with such a high quality instruments, and then
yeah.
and then
Single ply. When was the first time you played a single ply drum in your life? Probably an old Slingerland. at some
an old
point?
Radio King.
Yeah,
I
for
have
sure.
a couple old Radio Kings too. I have a Sound King. I have a couple old Radio Kings.
Single ply does make a difference. Fundamentally, it's all those little things in the construction. They add up to that final sound.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
big part of it.
Well, and the other thing is with those, they breathe. So, you gotta, the thing about any of these instruments is you gotta know what you got. First of all, you gotta know how to hit them. There's people's touch. It makes all the difference in the world. And it's something we work on. Your sound, what the sound is, what's in your sonic imagination, and how you're going to translate it.
Right.
Is vital. Also, just the ability to tune. So those drums, they give. It's almost like a calfskin head. I keep one in the basement sometimes. This whatever series that 6.5, and I'll go downstairs. That head will be floppy as all get out because of the moisture, and the changes.
Sure.
So you have to know what you have to know what you're doing with those. The only time I've been at the factory, the one in California, Craviotto factory. I was there twice.
Right.
And the first time, I was on the road with Myra Melford's band, and her tour manager drove me there, and so we were there, and we, you remember you walk in and upstairs
Actually,
was
I never went there.
Oh yeah.
I used to go. I went to the NAMM show a few times, but I never actually made it to the California factory.
Yeah, it's great.
I
So
heard
you
about
walk
it all
in,
the time.
it was like in here. And you walk, and it'd be like there's an office area up there. Oh, the Johnny's up there. He'll be down a little bit.
Nice.
Like, wow, this is interesting. Usually he'd be out like, like, okay, so wait a little bit. Because he wants to see you now. He has a friend up there he wants you to meet. So I take the tour manager up, and this guy is a huge fan of this particular person. So we walk up there, and it's Neil Young.
Ooh, yeah.
Neil was coming down to pick up a set for his studio that Johnny had made for him. They're old friends. They played in a band together.
Very cool.
And so
I've
we
heard
hung
that
out.
before, yeah.
We hung out like this. We hung out. He had his Volt car with me. He gave me a Volt hat. We had a great time. And so this guy was flipping out because I'm a Neil Young fan, but this guy was a huge Neil Young fan. So he
my
was just
goodness.
flipping out, man. He was
He's
like,
really
"This is so
here."
great." And then a couple years ago, during that Monterey Next Gen, this is after Johnny had passed. This is another time I was out at the Monterey Next Gen. I brought a group out from the new school to perform at that. And I took the students over there. And so that was great. And we saw the factory then. That was probably in 2014, maybe?
They went
15?
all the way from New York to California.
Yeah,
They
to
flew
play,
out.
to
Wow.
perform at this. Yeah.
It's quite a trip.
They were very good. So, and I was their, guide, coach, whatever. So,
Sure.
and we went there and it was great. And the day I was there, that time I bent a shell. I did it. They
Nice.
got it. I put it in the thing. I got it bent around. They said you have to do this kind of quickly, So we did it. The first time something broke that they never had broken before, like one of the clips or however they did that.
Oh no.
So I was like, oh wow. And then about a year later, Dave or one of the cats on there wrote me and said, "Are you going to be around your birthday?" And I said, "Well, I'm on the road, but my sons will be there." This is maybe 18. It might have been 19, but I think it was 18.
Sure.
And so I get home from a trip and there's a box and it's a 7x14 that of the shell that I bent. And so they sent me the drum.
Oh, so the drum was okay. The wood didn't crack.
Oh,
It was
no. Yeah, it was just
clamp
the
or
clamp, or it was just the whatever the frame, like those were over there that they put around it.
Sure.
Something broke it. So we got it the back end, the steamer, and got the wood and bent back around. So they sent it to me, and it's great. I call it my baritone drum. It's a 7. It's a little different. I kind of have it
Yeah.
pretty floppy.
Yeah,
so I
that's
like that drum a lot too. Yeah, it's a maple. I have all maple. I don't really have any other
Maple
shells.
is kind of maple and mahogany, both those woods. I can see why, kind of, if you had a choice of just about any wood, you would choose those for.
Yeah, I like.
drums.
I played one time. I was artist in residence or whatever they call it at the Monterey Festival. I can't remember what year that would have been. But one of them, they provided the drums for a lot of that. And they actually, you guys got me a set the last time I played at Monterey with Honey and Salt. That was really nice. But the first time was one of the first sets that Johnny had made, and it was Cherry, I think. And I played.
Ooh, that's another good one. Yeah.
I played with Arts and Crafts at that, and I played duo with Bill Frisell, and those were the drums that I played. Were those drums?
Nice.
It's great. They sounded really,
they're,
really good.
They're ultra resonant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably the loudest snare drum I've ever played out in my entire life was a Cherry 6.5 with 45-degree edges and maple wood hoops.
Yeah.
That thing just like.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh yeah. They really really breathe. So
A
you know
rifle
when
you hit it.
yeah, man, they're great. And so that's what he was. That's why I love Johnny. He'd be like, get so excited about the music I was playing with them. And
Sure.
and then I.
Hey, while we're on setup, sorry to interrupt you, but
No, it's right.
What's your kind of go-to sizes? I would guess it's probably
14 by 18.
yeah, that's
8 by
what I would
12,
guess.
14.
Yeah, right.
And then on the right, I either play, if I do use a second tom, I like the 13 a lot.
Right.
I love it. And when I play the 20, I like the 13 a lot. And but I played a set one time at a college, and it was a 20 space drum with a 13-inch tom, and I was like, oh, this feels pretty cool. I like it. Then, but I put a 10-inch snare on the right, so
Okay.
that way I have 2 snares and 2 toms, and so it's nice to have.
Yeah, have you ever played 20, 13, 16?
Yeah, I like that.
That's
those a lot.
actually my favorite, just because it can be for anything.
Yeah.
Like it'll be good for anything. You play a jazz show with
Yeah.
it, play like a big rock show. It's
Yeah.
just big enough that it won't look tiny.
Yeah, and you know what? I
Versatile kit,
16
versatile
inch.
sizes.
I like 16-inch floor toms tuned high.
Okay, yeah.
I like the way they sound. I
They
always
still have
have
body, yeah, they
but
don't,
still
like,
a body.
max
Yeah,
out.
but it's, but they something there. So
You tune your drums pretty open from what I've seen.
They're pretty much all
oftentimes.
open, yeah.
What about your bass drum? You
bass drum, all I do
any
is
tuning ideas you got?
I put I like the fiber skin that's on it. I like on the front, and
Okay.
then on the back I use Clear Emperor.
Clear Emperor. Interesting. That's
Yeah.
actually kind of rare in jazz. Yeah, I don't see that too often.
Yeah, I always have liked Clear Emperors. a
Yeah,
lot.
I can see what you like about those though.
Yeah,
that-
you can detune. So and then I had Johnny through your dad. I like to have T-rods on the top of the bass drum so I can retune it, detune
Okay.
it, or have it flatter.
You mean
or,
on just the head that's facing you? The
yeah,
batter
like
head,
the back head, the batter head. So I have 4 on the back, so I can reach down and
Oh,
detune.
nice. You
So-
they don't all be that, but
no, but just the top 2 but the top 4 really works nicely.
quick retuning.
Yeah. I can even blow with it. I can almost like a timpani. I can detune
Right.
as I play it and play the blues.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's fun. So I mean, I like that a lot. And then Coated Ambassadors.
So you
everywhere
sometimes
else.
you'll go for like a pitch.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you're in
Oh, yeah.
actual- Do you
Yeah.
have like? I mean,
No, I don't
a
have any
particular pitch you
I don't
go for.
I don't have any interval thing. I don't have any, no. I just I like the way they just feel and sound. Over the years, even my sound has gotten lower. I used to be like higher drum
Sure.
crank.
Me too. I've been. Yeah.
I've always, I've just gotten lower. Maybe influences of maybe, Mel Lewis's sound, or and then subsequently my good friend Jeff Hamilton, a little lower. But I still
Yeah.
like the drums sometimes, especially in a bebop or like a chordless group. The drums to be a little higher, stays out of the way of the bass. Mm-hmm. So I move, but now I travel so much that. That I never get to bring anything, and then there's a lot of places. I mean, 25 years that I've been in, or almost 30 years I've been in New York. You used to have to bring your set a lot of places. Cornelia Street, these places all have drums. You know, the Vanguard doesn't have drums, but I mean, you're going to bring your drums to play the Vanguard. But Dizzy's, Jazz Standard, all these places, you know, have drums. So you know, you don't. It's not as much. And unless it's an extended number of nights, you know, I'm not going to do that. So that makes it a little bit easier. And then even last fall on this European tour, I was out with Trio M because of travel, because of COVID and everything. And we were doing a lot of little small flights. They got me cymbals at every gig. They were great.
Right on.
You know,
right on.
yeah, I mean, every one of them I played. I met a really nice cymbal maker in Bologna. Really nice guy.
What's his name? Or her name?
Oh, I'm sorry. He's going to be. He's really. I'm tired a little bit because we got up early today.
I know. I feel.
But he's in Bologna, and I like.
I'm in the same boat. I got to the shop early today. I always do on Tuesdays, and then there were a bunch of customers basically almost like waiting outside the door out of nowhere.
Yeah,
it was
just
one
like
of those days.
Yeah, it's one of those days.
And I knew you were coming, but they only told me yesterday. But yeah, you know, while we're on this topic though, I want to make sure. Yeah, you kind of have like a melodic style of playing drums. I even just before this, I was listening to some of your stuff you were doing. Probably this recording was probably, I don't know, 5-10 years ago. And yeah, anything you can say? I know you're an educator about how to play the drums melodically, as opposed to just always being. I know in jazz, in my opinion, you were talking about the bass drum. You tune it a little higher as more like a note, and it's not always repetitively played. It's kind of sparingly played compared to rock and roll.
Yeah. The ride cymbals really where things emerge in that. And for me, you know, I've always been very connected to the songs as much as possible. So that to me, I mean, I consider myself a songsmith. You know, I really like, coming up with parts, doing, you know, like being really committed to the song. So, you know, knowing the song, I compose a lot. So, you know, I write a lot of music. So, you know, the melodies are very, very important to me. So I try to improvise from that standpoint as much as possible. And I hear melodies and rhythm. So like, I don't refer to it as a ride cymbal beat. I refer to it as a ride cymbal melody because we share melodies when we play music. So the ride cymbal is, if not the greatest contribution, that melody is one of the greatest contributions to music of the 20th century. Yeah. And so, you know, I refer to everything as melody. So if we hear and themes, I like melodic drama, but I like the word theme more. The theme, you keep ideas going through themes, you know. Mm-hmm. But melody is very, very important, you know, part of the way I approach it. And that came from that time that I heard Mr. Roach, you know, with the record with Mr. Rich, buddy, not Rich versus Roach. I mean, hearing him really sing, you know, through the instrument to me got me, you know, and I thought that was attainable, you know. And I've had a lot of these moments where I've seen people like, oh wow, Mr. Lewis, Billy Higgins, life changer, Ed Blackwell, life changer, you know, all kinds of folks like that where I really heard.
I don't even have to ask you that. Who are your influences question.
There you go.
You arrived there.
There you go. I mean, there's, you know, Jack D. Jeanette. I mean, you know, Bob Moses, just all kinds of folks. So, you know, hearing it that way, a little less from the manner of mechanics, of technique, and how your hands fast and all that. More like and sound, the quality of sound that you get, like just the way you strike the drum or cymbal. You know, with that kind of intent. You have to have ways of doing that. Right. I mean, you don't want to have a sound. We want to have sounds. We want to have ways of doing whatever. So I studied with Ed Sof. I got a National Endowment grant in 1984, so I studied with Ed Sof, and he really got me.
Where was he?
He was living in North Haven, Connecticut at the time. It was before he started teaching at North Texas.
Have you ever lived on the West Coast?
No, I never have.
You've gotten all around the Midwest and East Coast, though.
Yeah, which I really lived just in downstate, Wichita, Boston, and New York. That's really where I've lived. Yeah, and but I feel like I have a lot of homes. You know, I'm in San Francisco so much. I feel like that sort of thing. Seattle, that area up there, those kind of musicians. Chicago, I still feel very, very comfortable here and playing. I love playing in Chicago. So, you kind of create all these different places. But yeah, I'm pretty allegiant to that way of playing. And I want to really be a fabric in the band, So there's a great thing that Thelonious Monk said to somebody once, he said, great solo, wrong song. So I always ask people, are you moving your hands and counting bars? Or are you really playing the blues? Are you playing 12 bars and drums and counting? Or are you really playing the blues? Or are you really playing There'll Never Be Another You? Or are you really, so I think once you know this stuff, that translates to how you accompany, that translates to how you can offer accompaniment, how you the architecture of orchestrating the song and everything. You have to hear it, the whole big picture. And so I'm a drum nerd too in a lot of ways, but I'm more of a music. I like bands, I like groups.
Of some of the people you've played with, can you name a couple cats who just have like the biggest ears or just always there?
Oh, Dewey Redman was great. I played with Dewey for 12 years, and he really heard the music that I offered. We were really cool. One of my sons is named Max.
Okay,
you dig? And his middle name is Dewey, so it's Maxwell Dewey. And it's cool. It's pretty happening. He let me. I improvised on ballads with him. He let me play on everything, and so it was a really great way. And I learned a lot about sound from him. He had one of the greatest saxophone sounds. Yeah. And just to observe him and to watch how he got that sound and the way he approached it and the way he talked about it and everything.
Can you do
a real
like
influence?
A shout out for an album maybe? Something that you guys are both on?
I'm on.
We'll put it up as a link.
I'm on one of his records called In London, but he was on my first record as a leader called As Wave Follows Wave. And that came out 25 years ago last fall.
Nice.
So
you were pretty young when that.
I was 30. It came out in '96, so I was 32.
Yeah, that's pretty young.
Pretty young. I wasn't like 21-year-old making records. I was making a lot of records for people, but as a leader, and I think I've done 14 or 15 now as a leader, and I think I've played on close to 500 record dates. I think, over the years. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. To be documented with a bunch of different situations too, from duo with Lee Konis to large ensembles to all kinds of things in between.
Most of the stuff that I was watching you play just the other day was a lot of it was kind of like traditional jazz. Do you do a lot of maybe tell me a little bit about the group you're playing with right now. Is it?
Yeah, this group. I have a few different bands. I have a quartet with saxophone. Jeff Lederer, Kurt Konefsky on cornet, Chris Lightcap on bass, and that's been going for a long time. Sure. Then I have Arts and Crafts has been going for a long time, and
does Arts and Crafts. Do you guys do almost all original tunes, or do you play half and half standards and originals?
Repertoire? Yeah, and I try to find different ones to do. Okay. So this week, we we played some new tunes, and we're doing like a Julian Priester tune, and we're actually doing "Sunshine on My Shoulders" by John Denver. We have a nice arrangement of that I did, and then
so you did the arrangement. I
kind of was concept, but it was a group thing. We did it the other night. It's all it's all nothing. And then I have the Honey and Salt, which is the music I've written. That's all of my music that I've written to poetry of Carl Sandburg. Mm-hmm. So that project has worked quite a bit over the years, and that record won Album of the Year by Jazz Journalists Association in 2018. I also won Musician of the Year that year. I might as well talk about some of that stuff. Anyway, it's nice. Yeah. It was an honor to get as a drummer to get that. Especially, it was cool. Then I have the Christmas Trio, which plays every year in December, and then like some larger groups that can be possibilities. So they're all different, but it's really just about the people, that are stylistically they all are pretty open, and I don't really think about that. But I play I'm more of an outlier of I'm not really an I don't know. I don't like to think about it. I just like I like good songs. So I think within a night we'll play something that's really swinging free. All kinds of different moods. It's all fun. With all of it. Yeah, I don't really want to be. I don't think about it for terms of tradition or whatever. Though I'm a big fan of the anthropology of music, and I'm always, learning more and reading up about the cats and listening to records of people that I maybe, of lesser known folks, Denzel Best or there's Al Harewood, or there's a lot of other people other than the five or six names that Jazz and Lincoln or that Jazz Education tells people to listen to. There's more. There's a lot of great musicians. Roy Haynes lives in my town. He just turned 97 Sunday. Oh, he's a big influence.
He lives there?
Yeah, he lives in my town on Long Island. Yeah.
And so you play a lot in in the city in Manhattan. Yeah, that's great. Are you? What are some of the joints you play at like regularly? Over there?
I do play a lot in town. I go. I was at the Standard a lot. That closed during the pandemic.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because maybe
Dizzy's,
there's one that's starting up again.
Small. There's a lot of new places that are happening in Brooklyn. Actually, they're pretty cool. Bar Lunatico, Bar Bayou, a place called Anthropology, and another place called Atlantic Avenue Cafe. So there's like some places. A lot of these little places are open, which I think we need more of. So it's nice. So yeah, I can play there, but I mostly traveling really a lot most of the time. Seems like that's where. And I
must be exhausting.
It is, but it's pretty fun. And my kids are older and stuff like that's a little easier.
Right? Yeah. I've never really traveled too much, and I actually enjoy it whenever I do travel. But that's just because I don't have to all the time, and I can see how.
Yeah, it can get. But it's what I've done most of since I was 18 years old, 19 years old is this. So
What about like internationally? Do you do
I go
anything?
quite a bit too. Yeah, like I said, I was back in Europe for the first time in the fall for a tour, and I had been there since.
Where'd you go? Which cities you stopped
We were in Munich and Bologna. It was about a week. Bologna and Switzerland. We were in Spain and we were in London.
Very cool.
Those trio am, yeah. And I was supposed to go back the following week to teach in Holland, but that's when Omicron started to get really bad.
Oh,
and they were closed. They closed everything down from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m., so I didn't go.
Yeah, no point.
So this whole time period has been kind of a challenge of that part of it, but it seems to be, coming back around.
Yeah, everything's ramping up.
Yeah, it's starting to get.
Pretty much everyone I know is at least playing a little bit now.
Yeah, it's nice to be back in front of people. It's nice to have the bands back together. It's nice to be on a tour this time, just even where it's not out to promote something. We got these gigs and it's just going out and expressing and not worrying about it and. Make sure you got to do this. Make sure you sell this and do this more. Just like okay, we're playing.
Did you go a while for in the last 2 years ago? Did you go a while, maybe like 6-month period where you really didn't play at all with anybody?
Hardly play at all. I played. I think the first time I played with people again would have been June. I played one of those broadcasts from
Wasn't
Smalls.
it when you got back and you played your first show in front of people? Wasn't it like a breath of fresh air? Just such a great feeling to actually.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And I think, but I don't think that was for a while. That was this was just filmed. This wasn't an audience. So I think there was a little bit of stuff later in 20, right?
In a weird way,
outdoor stuff. Always
performing
outdoors.
can be like a stress reliever, right?
That's
how I would describe it. You get nervous before you play, and maybe stress becomes real high, and then you play, and then after that, it's just like, I feel so great.
Yeah, it was great the other night in Boise. We played 2 completely packed sets to a really enthusiastic audience, and they were with us the whole time, and we were really going for it and really exploring. So it's nice to see. I'm looking forward to this week. Always great to be at the Mill. It's always great to be in Columbia, Missouri.
What day are you playing at the Mill?
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I got 2 kids, but I actually might be able to make it out to that. I'll try and make it out to that.
That'd be great.
It's too bad because Wheaton College is right down the street from me. If I go to that, it'll be far away.
Yeah, but and that's just
probably more fun at the Mill though.
It'll be really fun. We're workshopping there and just talking about the stuff too. So it'd be nice to be here's there. But yeah, it's starting to I'm going out with another group. A co-led thing called the Leap Day Trio. We made a record live at the Cafe Bohemia after it reopened in New York. That
put up a link to that too, maybe.
that comes out in
the description.
The release date is I'm not sure when it is, but we'll have copies for it. We're doing the Wichita Jazz Festival in April.
Very cool.
Then I'll be back downstate in May for the Rutabaga Jazz Festival 40th anniversary, which is actually 2 years ago. Yeah.
Where's it get that name from?
Well, Rutabaga Stories, Carl Sandburg, because Carl Sandburg's from Galesburg, so the Rutabaga Stories for children.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Because you think Alice in Wonderland's crazy. This book is really great, too.
Sure.
So he did those, and so that's the 40th anniversary festival. So I put an all-star group together for that. That's with Tia Fuller and Dawn Clement. So she's in Denver. Tia is out on the East Coast. Ben Allison and Jeff Letter and myself. Jeff and I will be there all week doing residency stuff. And actually, Jeff and I are going to record a duo record while we're there. Going to record some stuff at the family farm. I'm going to record at a church I grew up in. Going to play a Swedish hymn there.
Nice.
Gazebo in Knoxville where I played summer band concerts. Play a march there. Cottage Hospital parking lot where I was born. Ken's Coney Island, the oldest restaurant in town, the Coney Island place, the hot dog place. It's great. Stuff like that. So we're gonna do that in May. So yeah, I always got things scheming going on. I'm always, and I'm gonna make a couple new records coming up. So I feel like doing that now. It's kind of hard to get psyched up about it during the pandemic a little bit, but I wrote a lot of music during that time and everything like that too. So it was fun. I got some stuff done.
Good deal. Yeah, that's great. I got to listen to some of your original stuff. Most of the stuff that I was listening to was, like I said, kind of like swing standard tunes.
Yeah.
Just what I happened upon.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on whose date I'm doing. I do what I'm supposed to, what I'm there to do.
What about clinics? Do you have any clinics coming up around? Well, yeah, just say them so people can find it. Maybe a little further in the future where they can come get you, because this will probably go up in maybe 2 weeks.
I'll be in Wichita. There'll be one. And then I'll do the Litchfield Jazz Camp this summer. I'll do Centrum Jazz Workshop in Port Townsend, Washington later in the summer.
Nice.
I have that week in May in Illinois, so that'll be workshops there too. And do I have any like drum shop kind of things?
That's what I was thinking.
So probably next fall more. I'm going to try to make a solo recording and do a little solo tour, and I want to do that in the fall of the year, I think. So I'll try to get that done early summer and then get that done along with the duo thing and all that too. So
yeah, Matt, we don't have to include this part, what I'm saying in the thing, but we're looking here to do clinics with people.
Okay.
So I'd love to do it one with you. We'd probably do it over there, but yeah, just something to think about.
Probably what I would do for this
would be interested
clinic,
at some
for
point.
the solo tour is I'd probably stop here and get some Craviatos to use and do it in the this region.
We should definitely.
We'll do that. We'll make that work.
I'll get the word out, do some promotion. If you guys do some on your end,
yeah.
then we can,
we get it go. We get it rolling.
If we do it over there in the middle room, you get like 20, 30 people there. It's like packed.
Yeah, it's
good.
Good.
If you think it's gonna be more, we could always do it in the warehouse. But
no, it'd be great. Your main room.
We're a little off the beaten trail. We're not in Chicago, but there's still.
People come out.
We used to do a jam session every first Saturday of the month, and I used to get pretty good thing. We've done like a tuning clinic with my dad. I don't know if you ever saw that video.
Yeah, that's great.
A lot of people came out to that. That was
yeah.
Cool.
People need to
trying to replicate that experience.
Yeah,
maybe once every 6 months.
Bringing back that community aspect of things is really going to be really important for our culture. For our psychic, for everything.
Yeah.
After all this, so yeah,
people are ready to socialize.
And we did a workshop yesterday, boy. But I'm teaching. I teach all. I'm going to be another. We're going to be arts. Honey and Salt. Will be at the Saratoga Festival in June, and then I'm going to be a guest for a couple of days at the
You're a busy guy.
Jazz Camp. Yeah, it's nice to be, have stuff going on. And then, but what I learned through this too is it was okay to be home. It was the first time I'd been home like that in my entire life. Well, since I was, teenager, late
Illinois
teenager.
is a beautiful state.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
Are you where that city is? Is that like on one of the river valleys, or is it more in?
No,
it's
west, about 50 miles in. Yeah, it's
really,
between Quad Cities and Peoria,
like prairie.
Type. Very prairie.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I'm saying at home. It was like these 2 years. Now, my wife passed away in 2014, and it was a good time for me to really, I'm really close to my children already, but it was really great to have them around and be really around. We ate dinners every night and all that. We had, it was really beautiful. And my girlfriend and her daughter, we had a nice, so now if I'm not as busy, I don't get like, no, I'm like, it's fine. I got plenty of things going on, teaching wise and all that stuff. And if I like being at home.
You said your kids are in their 20s?
Yeah, my
Any of them musicians?
No, my daughter is. She graduated with a degree in musical theater, and she's really talented. So she's starting to do some auditions. Now that world's starting to open up too. But
I used
that
to
just
play
shut
a lot
up.
of musical theater shows.
Yeah.
I was always the drummer.
Yeah, well, those are fun. Yeah,
High school
she's
and
very
college.
good. She does. She's doing some audition stuff. But and then my sons are at school there, and one goes to SUNY Brockport, which is up by Rochester, and one goes to SUNY Old Westbury. One is going to go back to school in the fall, but he works at security at Madison Square Garden, so he gets to see all kinds of concerts.
Yeah,
and all kinds of things, Knicks games. He gets to do all this stuff, so it's great. But I'm really proud of them. They're really, it was, after my wife passed, that was hard, and we were together for so long. We met in college. She passed away from leukemia in June 15th of 2014.
I'm sorry
So it's coming up.
to
Yeah, it's
hear
coming
that,
up on
yeah.
8 years. And so but I know I had a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old to raise, and I on my own, and I was able to, with help from the village and the help from my relatives and stuff, but we were able to do it. So yeah, I'm very proud of them. They're very, very nice young people. They're very cordial, very smart, very, like
So you're-
a lot of fun to be conversations with. Stuff
Yeah,
like that.
you were living when she passed away. Were you living in the same place you're living now?
Yeah, we'll
And your kids were in high school then?
my sons were starting high school. My daughter was in high school. Yeah, so it was a time period for them, for all of us, and we've been in that house with the day April 12th when the boys turned 21. We've been there 19 years.
19 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Lots of memories.
yeah, lots of memories, and I like my town. I'm very involved with the town, and we did a festival in my backyard last summer called the Avant Yard, and my girlfriend and I do house concerts. We had a nice series going before the pandemic, so we're going to start that back up.
Was it like real free music kind of?
Yeah, it was pretty
That
out.
was the
Yeah,
theme?
we had 75, 80 people there. And
Nice.
the weirder it got, the more people loved it, and it was a great afternoon. And then I did a solo concert in the park, community garden last summer. I had different stations. So I had drums under a gazebo. I had snare drum and these little cymbals. You know how you have those cutouts where you put your face through? Well,
Sure.
I put my face through, but played on the outside. I hung a bunch of gongs and Chinese cymbals and stuff in this willow tree.
Okay.
People couldn't see me, but they could hear the stuff coming from the tree. And I had
wow.
other little station where I had my pedal floor tom and a bunch of bird whistles and stuff. So I moved around to these different things.
Very cool.
And it was really, really fun.
Do you have any of this kind of
video? Yeah.
more creative
Yeah.
stuff? Is any of it on like YouTube or anything?
Yeah, some of that's on YouTube.
Again, we'll put a link up to that. Well,
If
you'll
the,
show me
the
something.
best stuff, the solo stuff that's good is on YouTube. Is the stuff from this show I did. I don't know what year it would have been. It was quite a few years ago for a show called Solos. It was a Bravo show, network show in Canada. And
Okay.
so a bunch of people did solos. Lee Konitz, Bill Frisell, all kinds of folks. I did a duo one with Lee Konitz actually also, but
Nice.
I did a solo drum one, and so I do the piece with the juicer. I play the drums with Carrots. I do. Yeah, you'll see. Yeah, they're all on
I think
YouTube.
This is reminding me of something. I think a long time ago I remember watching something like this.
Yeah.
It was probably, but yeah.
And then there's a
brush.
brush one. I do a rock and roll fantasy thing where I have a wig and
Sure.
there's fog, and then it was yeah.
You said you're, what's your favorite stick to use?
I use John Riley Zildjian.
Riley,
yeah.
That's
and
a
Zildjian
cool
cymbals.
choice.
I've been with Zildjian cymbals since 19. Well, I played them all my life, but as an endorser, I've been with them since 92.
Yeah. What about brushes? What kind of brushes do you like?
I like Regal tip
Yeah.
brushes.
Pretty much that's like this.
I like
standard.
the wire. I like their wire, just jazz ones. I like the Jeff Hamilton ones also, and I also really
They're
like the
thicker,
Fat Cat,
heavier. Fat Cat,
plastic
okay, yeah.
brushes.
Okay.
They're plastic brushes I really, really like.
I've never, though, that's funny. When I was like coming up and I was younger, I had a thing against plastic brushes. Like, oh, I'll never use those. But they do have a very specific sound that you can definitely use.
Oh yeah, they're fatter. And,
So don't discriminate against them just because they're plastic.
No, they're great. And some of my heroes played them. Billy Higgins played plastic brushes. Al Foster plays plastic brushes. Joey Barron. There's a lot of people that play it. Paul Motion used them.
You ever use hot rods?
I used to.
The
I will play.
inventor, Joe, I did a podcast with him just recently. He invented hot rods.
Yeah, I
long time
like
ago.
them. I like them. I still have some. And every once in a while I'll throw one in. I use it for a color or something like that.
Sure. I use them for like fast Latin stuff if I'm
Yeah.
in kind of a live room and it's.
Yeah,
I don't want
it's
to have
nice.
to hold back. So
Yeah, I was telling a story the other day about if you break one of those
Sure.
dowels and you reach down. So one night I reached down to grab one of those, and
Oh,
the
I've done that before.
Dowel went
I've
up my
totally done that
nail. It
before.
was like man, words came out. I'm sure that
Yeah. was it during like an actual
during a gig. I reached down. So yeah,
Hope there weren't any kids in the audience.
No.
Sorry about that.
and I just got some timpani.
I've done that same thing though. I know exactly.
Yeah, you
where-
reached down.
Did it go under your nail?
Oh,
That's what you're
right
talking
through. Yeah,
about?
well,
Yeah,
it
I've
hurt
done that
like crazy.
before.
But then I just got these old leady timpani from the 40s, and so I want to write. Then my next project for on the sort of skirt thing, kind of aligns with the Sandberg thing, is to write music to paintings from different generations of her life, of a great painter named surrealist painter who was married to Max Ernst, named Dorothea Tanning. And actually later in her life, she did poetry. She died in 2012 at 102 years old. Anyway, she's
That's
from
a long
Galesburg
life.
also, Swedish American too.
Okay.
From Galesburg. So
you're Swedish. I'm actually a little bit Swedish too.
Yeah.
I'm 25%.
Yeah, both my grandmothers were full, so I'm pretty close to full. Except Wilson's side is Irish and English, but so so that's going to be more percussion based. Probably will be a mallet player I love named Patricia Brennan and Rogério Boccato, the great Brazilian percussionist, and maybe one other percussion, and then I think clarinet. So I'm writing the music for that around these paintings. So yeah, you think Dali's stuff is crazy. This lady's stuff is crazy. And she was,
Yeah, we got some. We definitely have some modern art.
It's great. That's great.
Background for our super cool hang here at the.
So I try to,
studio.
to find different things to do. I like, and this is going to be more of a chamber thing. So I'm writing some of that music. I got a couple pieces done for that already. I'm looking forward to it.
Percussion ensemble.
Yeah, but kind of percussion, more percussion based. Yeah,
I have to say, I want to do more with even just talking to and getting people into the shop who are writing for that, because in college I always played in the percussion ensemble.
Yeah.
I was in like 13 different ensembles at one point.
Yeah.
I went to Roosevelt.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
I was with Ed Harrison, who's the timpanist for the Lyric Opera.
Yeah.
He ran percussion ensemble. And then Ruben Alvarez, he did some stuff too.
I know
You
Ruben
probably
very
know
well.
Ruben. Everyone knows Ruben.
I know Ruben.
The
Ruben's great.
whole world.
I
Every
love
percussion.
Yeah, I
knows
love Ruben. I love Ruben. And Wichita State, we did all kinds of crazy stuff. We did a piece called War Games by Walter Mays, who's a composer and teacher at the school.
Yeah.
And it was a concerto for professional wrestlers and percussion ensemble.
See, that genre, there's so much to be done with it, because it's just and there's a place to do it. A lot of times at college, and
it can also be incredibly boring, but it can also be like anything.
Sure.
But it also can be incredibly. It depends on the presentation. It depends on the imagination of things.
We did some very cool stuff, because Ed is a maraca player.
Yeah.
So we did a maraca. I think it was just a sonata. It was the world premiere.
Wow.
And the percussion ensemble, I think it was like 6 different pieces, but it
Wow.
was mainly featuring maracas.
Well, and then Chicago has such a legacy. Bobby Christian and all that whole world, and Al Payson and all.
Yeah.
And the drum companies being here. I mean, Chicago was like serious who was it? Roy Knapp had the drum school in Chicago, right in the same building. Yep. Your guys' first store.
Yeah.
I remember going there years ago. Seeing that when it was still there.
So you're talking about Fine Arts?
Fine Arts building. Yeah. The Roy Knapp.
My wife still works there. Actually,
the Roy C. Knapp studio was there.
Yeah, there's still a lot of music there. Not that
I remember
anymore,
coming up when I was a kid, man, from high school. We'd do these summer band trips. We'd come up to Chicago. First thing I do, we'd stay at the Parker House. No, it's the Parker House, Hilton Parker. Yeah, Parker House Hilton, right?
I'm not sure.
It's down on. And first thing I do, man,
I don't know the city quite that well.
throw my stuff in and go right to Frank's, and then Bill Crowder's is right below.
Yeah,
and man, I go there and get stuff.
So that would have been probably
80s.
Okay.
Yeah,
and they were. Yeah, that Wabash Avenue corridor lasted till kind of mid 80s.
Yeah, mid 80s. Yeah,
we talk a lot about those shops. I've had people who used to work there. Do you know Paul Jackie? Maybe
I know of Paul. Yeah, he worked.
We did one with him a little while
He worked at Frank's or Bill's or both. Bill's, right?
Both. He worked at both. Yeah, and he's got stories. And actually, you should listen to the one I did with him.
Okay, I'll listen. Yeah,
you'd love it.
I met a guy one night. There was a short-lived club. I can't remember what part of Chicago it was in. I can't remember the name of it. I played there with Denny's Island and Buster, that band. We've been together for 21 years. And a guy that was there one night who worked at the Slingerland factory. And we had a great visit. The Niles factory.
Right.
And he was cool. It's pretty hip. And then I would go there. And I got, in 1984, I came up to Chicago at one of these theaters, and it was a Zildjian day that was pretty happening. And it was Tommy Aldridge was supposed to be there, but his wife was about to have a baby, so they had this guy they brought out that not many people knew, but it was Kenny Aronoff, and it was great.
Nice.
And he played, and then Steve Gadd was there with Ralph McDonald, Steve Smith, Larry London, It was great. It
Wow.
was really, really great.
It's
The
a
great,
heck of a.
what's the great Chicago Latin jazz drummer who's very, very good? I'll think of his name. He was there. He was on it. I can't remember his name. Steve Smith was there, I remember. It was really cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
When did you, speaking of like, I guess a little later, but Chicago happenings, when did you first meet my dad? I mean, that had to have happened probably around here.
2000.
Would that have been at the first shop at some point?
Yeah, it was the first shop. 2005, 2004.
Cool.
It's been quite a few years.
Did you just come by to check the
Yeah,
place out
I
one of
was
those
at the
days? or-
showcase all week, so I'd walk around the city all day. And
Did
then
you know
somebody
Johnny
told me about it.
before you knew my dad?
No, your dad introduced me to Johnny.
Oh, okay, cool, yeah.
I don't even know if
One of
when
many
when
where
the
that
shop
happened.
first started happening, if there was really that much Craviato stuff at that point.
Well, he had a lot of like vintage stuff. We
Vintage stuff more,
If
but-
you in the old days, I was actually just talking with my father about this. Yeah, you had a row of Gretsch round badge kits, maybe
Yeah.
like 5 or 6 of them in a row.
Yeah,
And
I did a photo shoot there with Michael Jackson for a downbeat piece. So
Hmm.
I'm in front of like Rufus Speedy Jones's drums, I think, in one of those. That
Yeah.
Slingerland set that was down there.
We actually had that here till
Yeah.
very recently.
Yeah.
And just recently,
Yeah.
we sold it to a museum. Yeah.
Yeah, and then your dad, when he got the store open in New York, I would the original one on in Times Square. I went there quite often
Yeah.
and recorded there because Jimmy Katz was doing some live recording. And that was a really good sounding room.
Oh, at the. I
At
mean,
the
yeah,
studio.
it was a.
And then I did
fully built.
And then I was on the cover of Downbeat and Jazz Times. I think I don't know what year it was. The same month of November, one of those years, and we did the photo shoot there. It was Jeff Tane Watson, Louis Nash, and myself, and we played. There's some video footage. So Tane is playing Elvin's Camco set that you guys had.
Sure.
And Louis was playing Charlie Persip's Premiere.
And that's
And I was
somewhere.
playing- it's on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, I've seen that before. I know exactly.
And Joe
what you're
Morello.
talking
I think I
about.
played Joe Morello's. That Joe Morello.
It might be on our
set.
channel actually.
Yeah.
That's like it's one of those videos I don't like. I didn't
pretty
film it.
short.
I wasn't even working at the shop.
It was 09 because I had dislocated my shoulder that summer,
Ooh.
and I was still kind of like a little like, and those guys just.
What did you do? Are you
I
big
was
into
teaching at
sports?
Stanford Jazz Workshop. I was doing yoga, and I fell out of a pose. And
Oh, no.
and I think I injured it at a festival. I had
Sure.
the boys were on the back of a golf cart going from the stage to the
Sure.
hospitality area. So, and I thought one of them was going to fall, so I kind of jumped off and pulled. I think that might have done something, but.
I'm starting to get to the age where like even just little weird things
Oh,
like
gosh,
if you're using a mouse on a computer at the wrong angle for a while, it can really mess
Oh
you
yeah,
up
you
if
have to
you're not
really,
careful.
you have to keep yourself, So like this past, we started this tour Sunday in Boise, and we all got to Boise about 12:45,
Right.
and we had to be. Lobby call was 2:45 for 3 o'clock sound check, 5 o'clock first set.
Yeah.
We did 2 sets that night, and those guys, Michael and Gary, played with Maria Schneider's band all week at Birdland, so they went right from Birdland basically to the airport.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we were pretty tired, but you know what? That's when the music really, you just do it, and then we had a little bit of yesterday to rest, but we took an 8 o'clock flight this morning from Boise to here. And we have this workshop today, so it's pretty easy, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
That's what we do, But
Yeah,
I
you
miss
are.
this part.
You are a busy guy. It seems like you're just like you got all these different angles. You're never.
Thankfully, I did. Thankfully, the teaching because
Sure.
during the pandemic, I was still relatively busy with the schools, and and I was able to I got a couple of grants.
You probably did some virtual stuff.
Oh,
I
well, it was
imagine.
all virtual. Yeah. It
Like
was all-
and Madeline, she had to set up a lot of that stuff. That's my wife.
Yeah.
She had to set up a lot of that stuff for them.
Oh.
And now it's so difficult to make all that work in a way, and even under the best circumstances, it's not close to as good as being there with a person. I mean, for me, like trying to teach a drum lesson. Like trying to show someone how to use proper technique without. I usually just take the hand and
Oh, I know. It
take
was
10
it was
times as
challenging,
long.
but for college students, I kind of dug like a lot.
Sure.
I got a lot of my stuff sort of put into documents or whatever, and we could play videos and recordings and stuff like that. So it was actually pretty, and I would have them record a lot of the stuff and send it to me rather than just deal with it from Zoom.
Right.
So I still like it. And I was always afraid of it. Like, oh, I'm not going to teach on Skype or FaceTime or Zoom or whatever. Now,
Sure.
like, I'm down with it. If if it has to be that way, it's totally cool.
That's a good attitude.
Yeah, it was fine. And and then we have a drummer hang that happens every Tuesday night. It was organized by Rich Thompson at University of.
Oh, I know Rich.
yeah.
I took lessons from him for a while from at in Door County.
At
Birch Creek.
Birch Creek, yeah.
Birch
So
Creek,
Rich,
he's I love his brush playing.
Yeah, he's really great. And Harold
particular.
Jones has been on that a lot, and Joe LaBarbera, and Carl Allen, and Bill Goodwin, and Soph sometimes, and Hamilton sometimes, and Lewis Hayes, and Billy Hart, Roy McCurdy.
Do you talk to Rich ever?
Oh, every Tuesday on this. I will.
Him
Yeah.
I'll give you my contact
Yeah.
info. Tell him to reach me if he's ever in town. I'd love to show him
Oh,
the
yeah.
shop.
Oh, yeah,
He
he would
probably
love to
doesn't
see
even
it.
remember me. But
Oh, he would love to see it, and and so we do that, and that was nice too. We get together every Tuesday night for not Kenny Washington, and Adam Nussbaum. I mean, those guys just write down tons of records to check out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was a nice thing to have happening every Tuesday. Actually, there's one happening tonight. We're going to try. I might try to log in a little bit later after our workshop. But
Sure.
those are from 9 to 11, and that was fun. Michael Vossman does one on Mondays. I never really been able to make that one, but
Right.
But yeah, we found other ways to stay, and actually, it was a cool way to be connected with those guys because I'm very drummers don't get to see each other as much as we'd like, so it was great to be in contact. And
You think you're
look
going to
forward
make it to the drum show this year out in Chicago?
When is it? It's
Probably
in
not.
May.
You're here now,
What's
so.
it? Was it in May?
I can never remember the exact date of it. It's in like 2 months about from now.
I might try
so-
to come out. It depends. It depends on. We might drive out so my sons
it's not
can
too
see their
far.
aunts, and then it would be.
Well, if you are coming out, make sure to let us
oh
know.
yeah, I'll definitely let you know.
We don't
I'll
really do the
definitely-
hang here anymore, but it's usually there's at least someone here, so it's kind of.
Oh, yeah.
And then with
Yeah.
our shop, like totally new stuff every.
You guys, it's incredible.
We
I
only
can't
got
believe
to
it.
run through real quick earlier, but I
Sheesh.
still want to give you maybe a little bit more of
Yeah.
a tour. I'm trying to do a million things
No,
at once
you don't.
'cause
It's
I got to
all right.
pick up my kids.
Yeah, you got to pick up your kids, man. Don't want to leave them. Where's my father?
Yeah, for sure. The
Where's
poor,
Dad? Yeah.
they're always the last ones to get picked up because I'm so busy. I'm always
Yeah.
trying to get out and
Yeah,
I
I
always get
know,
there
it's
like
hard.
right.
It's hard.
And I told you the COVID thing, they used to close at 6:30.
Yeah.
But then they changed it to 5:30 and they didn't give us a deduction in.
No, that's true.
But-
yeah. That's a hard time too, just in general,
Yeah.
traffic wise and whatever.
Right.
But in closing, I'd just like to say, I'd like to thank so much. Your father's been so helpful to me, and then that's how I got introduced to
Sure.
to Johnny. And also, I've just learned so much about things, from
Yeah.
history stuff. I remember playing the Chicago Jazz Festival one time. I can't remember what group it was. I think it was Lee Conan's 9-Ep.
Okay.
And Ben Gray came and brought me what was probably the first, what they called a Zildjian ride from the 40s that he had found. Somebody had somewhere in the suburbs, and he
Oh, was
bought
it
it.
Tramp Zildjian?
It was way before. It was like it was
Those are the
40s.
ones where it's got kind of a small stamp and then it's more pressed on the sides.
Yeah, I just got a
Those are
Tramp
usually the-
A.
yeah,
this
those
was
are-
this was like the era though when it was like the first 20-inch ride A,
yeah. Sure.
and it was incredible to play, and I keep in touch with Ben and then of course your dad and then
Yeah,
just
great
Jess and
taste in
everybody,
cymbals.
Jess and everybody in Chicago, I mean in New York, those guys. So
Yeah.
and I helped get a couple people jobs at that store in New York back in the day. So
Nice.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
You know Jess really well?
Yeah. Derek Dickens worked there for a while, and
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
Derek. Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
And,
I haven't talked to him in a long time.
yeah. So it was fun. It was great. I haven't seen him for a long time.
What about
either.
Jeremy? You know Jeremy?
Yeah.
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 I still call Jeremy just to bother him every now and then. So
Yeah.
he used to do all of our kind of like audio and internet video stuff. He's the one who started our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like
You guys have to do that a lot for product, right? To put it out like what something sounds
Yeah.
like.
And
so that's probably pretty
over
much
there-
hours a day, right?
well, they were in an actual recording studio.
Oh, I know.
like you
Yes, yeah,
said.
that recording studios. Yeah.
Perfect place to
Yeah.
get drum stuff in. And here I've done my best to
Yeah.
to
Yeah, you're
build
getting that. Yeah, it's a nice studio. Yeah.
and kind of bring it to that same level. And so yeah, we do tons of YouTube stuff. I've got a nice studio. I try and get recordings that are pretty close to what it actually sounds like in the room. We don't like mess with them.
Yeah.
You can add tons of reverb or all kinds of stuff, but we that's how a lot of people
Oh,
get to
man,
see
for your
these
dad,
drums.
I got to
nice
play-
camera close-ups.
Yeah.
and
For your dad, I got to play the famous Mel Lewis A with the cutout, the famous symbol that he played.
I know what you're talking about.
I think it might have been Don Lamont's China that he got from Buddy or something like that. You guys had, I think, all this stuff went to Charlie Watts.
Yeah.
And your dad did all that stuff over there for Charlie, right? Did his
He's
cataloged
got
all his stuff?
Whole museum worth of stuff out there.
Yeah, and so he went over to London quite a few times for that stuff, right? Your dad? Yeah.
This is a little while ago, but that's
it's pretty amazing.
I got to meet Charlie once. He came out here, and it was really cool.
He came to this one?
Yeah, he did. Back when we were in Naperville.
Yeah. Oh, Naperville. Okay.
Yeah. Now, obviously,
Yeah.
He passed away just recently, so it's very.
And I
very
saw a little
sad,
clip
but
the other day of
I got to meet him.
Jordan playing of Steve, who's so incredible too, playing a Craviato snare on the Stones tour. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, you did that, right? Yeah, he was playing a Craviato Timber series on the Stones tour.
I'm sure I've been told that before, but what year was this? Would have been maybe
just this last tour that after Charlie died.
That actually. Well, actually, no. That would have been after because it was probably 3 tours ago when I got to meet him. But interesting.
Yeah, he was playing. Yeah, Steve Jordan.
He must have. Yeah, must really dig that.
Yeah,
Craviato single ply.
He's something else. So it's great. So, all right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah, we'll
do it again.
we'll
do it again.
sometime.
Yeah, sometime. It'd be fun.
Thanks.
We'll do something around here. I love it.
And everyone, thanks for listening, everybody.
All right. Thank you, buddy. See you guys.